Shellyse TV. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh.
Hi everybody, I am here to talk about the new show on OWN called Queen Sugar. Now I'm going to be doing a recap of the first 3 episodes because I am behind. So I wanted to hurry up and catch up so that I can be on time with the next episode that'll come out this week. So let's jump right into what this show is about and the characters. It's centered around a man named Ernest, and he's a hardworking sugarcane farmer from Louisiana. And he owns his farm, and he seems to be having a hard time. We see him working as a janitor, also, out in his field, seeing what's going on with it. As the story progresses, we find out that he hasn't planted any crops in 2 years. He's in debt. Now, Ernest has 3 kids. He has 2 daughters. One's name is Nova, one's name is Charlie, and the other one is a son, and his name is Ralph Angel. Now, Ralph Angel has a son, and his name is Blue, and he's so adorable. And Ernest loves that grandbaby to pieces. He goes and picks up Blue from school, and he's kind of there helping his son raise his child. And also, he has a sister named Violet, who he's really close to. I think his wife actually passed away. I'm not sure as to when it was yet, but she did pass away. So while he was at Blue's birthday party, he had a stroke, and they took him to the hospital. And eventually he passed away. But before he passed away, he wanted to see his baby Blue. And Blue was able to come to the hospital and see him, and that was some of his last moments was spending time with his grandson. He couldn't talk or anything. And when he passed away, he left the farm to the 3 kids. So next, let's talk about Nova. Now Nova, like I said, is his daughter, and at the very beginning of the very first episode, we see Nova laying in the bed with this fine man. Okay, and it just seems like there's passion there, but there's also a little bit of resistance. And then later on, we find out that the reason why it was a little bit of that resistance and tension is because he's actually married with kids, and his name is Calvin. And when Ernest dies, he goes to visit Nova, and he tells her that he wants to come to the funeral. And at first she's like, no, you don't need to be there. You got a family to worry about. And he told her, no, I really want to be there. Do you just not want me to come? So she decides to let him come, and she couldn't introduce him to the family. Of course, she can't claim him publicly because he's a married man, which, girl, why is this a recurring theme in these TV shows? These women messing with these married men. Now, I understand in real life this probably really happens. I'm sure it does. But I'm just saying, I am so tired of seeing these women falling behind these men who got wives. Come on, like, give us a new type of a storyline. You got Olivia Pope from Scandal, who's chasing after a married man, or was chasing after a married man. And you got Angela chasing after Ghost on Power, and he was married. Like, come on. I'm tired of seeing it. Anyway, so Nova she's like a healer, and she also is a writer for the newspaper. And obviously, she is often a weed supplier to the local drug dealers because they came by and got some weed from her. And she just gave it to them or whatever. And she's an activist. She's actually involved in a case that involves, I think, her friend's son. And something has happened with him, and he's locked up, and he supposedly didn't do whatever it is that he's in there for. And I think she's going to try to rally behind him and help him get his freedom. Next, I'm going to talk about the other daughter, which is Charlie. We see that these 2 sisters have tension between them, but they do genuinely love one another. Now, Charlie is the other sister. She's educated. She's married to a professional basketball player whose name is Davis. She has a cute little son named Micah. Well, he's not little, he's a teenager. And she lives this seemingly perfect life. She has the beautiful cars and the big house and the beautiful husband and beautiful child, and she's just living the life. And there's a scene where she meets with two other of her friends, I guess, and they're in the talks of being on a reality show, like I guess like Basketball Wives or something, and they're like persuading her to be on the show. And while they're having lunch, everybody's phones are blowing up because there's a new scandal that's out, and it involves some of the basketball players and this woman, and the woman is crying rape. So there's a video of some of the basketball players taking this woman into a hotel room. And at that time, Charlie was just there supporting Davis to say, okay, your teammates did some silly things and we're just gonna have to get through it. And he's like, man, I'm gonna have to find another team, and it's so much scandal and blah blah blah. They just went through the whole thing. But she's still thinking that her life is perfect, her marriage is perfect, everything is good and great, it's all to the good. But come to find out, in the video, it shows her husband Davis picking the woman up, putting her over his shoulder, and taking her into their room. So when she finds out that, honey, they was at the game, and she walked on that court, because normally she's all poised and together, and she says all the right things. She's very PC, and she keeps it together. But in that moment, she was like, oh no, what you been doing? Like, she walked out onto that on that court, and she was like, what did you do? What you been doing? And she just like has a whole moment, and it's all over TV. Her dad seen it before he passed away. Her sister found out about it. Just, I mean, everybody did, because he's a famous basketball player, and he got caught in the drama too. So she breaks down, and she's sleeping in her bed. She's having one of them Carrie moments. Have y'all seen Sex in the City? The movie. Now, I don't know. I think it was the first one, but y'all remember when Mr. Big didn't show up to the wedding, and Carrie was just left at the altar, honey, and the girls took her off on, her honeymoon trip, and how she was laid up in the bed. She wasn't eating, she wasn't talking, she wasn't doing nothing, honey. She was broke down. That's how Charlie was after she found out what her husband did. And so when her father got sick, her aunt Violet called and tried to get her to come into town because he was really sick. But since she was in such a distraught place, she didn't make it in time. So by the time she made it to Louisiana to see her dad, he was already gone. And so she was very upset about that, and it was messed up. Now, her and Nova, we can see the tensions when they start planning the funeral. Nova, Ralph Angel, and the Aunt Violet, they're doing the majority of the planning for the funeral because they've been around. And it's almost as if Nova is shutting her out because she feels like she abandoned the family. And Charlie is desperate to help do something, and Nova's like, "No, we got it covered. No, we got it covered." And she just kind of looks at her like, "Well, what can I do to help?" And so, since Nova wasn't giving her nothing, she just took it upon herself to start doing stuff. And when she started doing that, that's when Nova exploded on her, and she's like, "Look, you ain't even been here. You haven't been around. You ain't been gone that long to forget how we do things around here." And it was a real emotional scene because Charlie had gotten some tables and linens and things to be outside, so when people came to visit the family, they could be outside. And Neville was like, "No, you don't put our visitors outside. You invite them in your home, and you don't hire servants to serve the people. You do it yourself out of love. That's the way we do things around here." So she just kind of checked her like, "No, ma'am. Like, I know you got money and you be spending up that money, but that's stupid to be spending money on something like that when that's not even how we do things around here." But also, while Charlie was there, she went by her father's house, and there were some notes left in the door from this guy named Remy. And also, while she was there was a man named Samuel Landry who came by, and he offered her some money to sell the land. Now, she went and found this guy named Remy, and Remy was actually a younger guy, probably around her age, and he knew and respected her father. And he was sitting there talking to her about, the farm and things. And through a few more meetings, he invited her out to, it's almost like a farmers meeting, like the local farmers in the area get together, have potluck, and they talk about the different things that are going on with their farm. Okay, now let's skip over and let's talk about Ralph Angel. Now, Ralph Angel, when we were introduced to him, he was on the playground with his beautiful little son, Blue, and his son is probably around 4 or 5 years old, something in that area. Left his son at a playground, walked to a convenience store, robbed the convenience store while he was in there, and came back to his baby and they went on home. Now, first of all, how you just gonna leave your baby out like that, Ralph Angel? Don't you know people take kids? Oh my goodness. So I'm like, okay, he's irresponsible and crazy. Here we go. But then later on, we find out that yes, he is troubled, but he has a huge heart. Number one, he works on the farm with his dad. So, he knows everything about sugarcane and growing it. He is a loving father. He loves his baby boy, even though he doesn't make all the right decisions concerning him. His Aunt Violet tries to help him, but now that his father is gone, he really don't be trying to listen to her too much. He takes what she says into consideration, but he does what he want to do. Now, his baby mama, her name is Darla, and she is an addict. I guess recovering addict right now. There's obvious tension between her and Ralph Angel because he is adamant about keeping her away from their son. He was so mean and so rude to her. He talked down to her. He made her feel so bad about herself. So I know she probably have done some crazy stuff. I'm sure it'll be revealed later on in the season. It comes time for the funeral, and he doesn't want Blue to go to Ernest's funeral. So he calls Darla up and asks her to come watch him. Now, she had just gotten a new job, and she's trying to, get on her feet and kick that habit and be a better woman. And the guy wouldn't let her off from work. So she missed the opportunity to come get the baby and keep him. But she did show up at the funeral, and Ralph Angel almost lost it completely. But she did show up at the funeral, and Blue was so happy to see her. He carries around this little Barbie doll, and I don't know if it's because he misses his mother or what, but he loves his mom and he wants to be around her. And Ralph Angel is just struggling with this notion if he wants to be around her or not, or if he wants his son to be around her or not. He don't trust her. Something that got on my nerves was the way that the sisters were treating Ralph Angel. It seems like every time he wanted to put in his input about something about his father, about the farm, about anything, they just shut him down. When it came to the funeral arrangements, they were going to split the bill 3 ways. First of all, Charlie wanted to pay for everything, and Neville was like, no, we're going to split it. And then they were going to pay for Ralph Angel's way, and he's like, no, I can pay my own way. I'm just going to need, about a week or two to get the money up. It was kind of like that. They still kind of baby him and treat him as if his opinion don't matter. And that annoyed the mess out of me because you could tell that it was just breaking him down. And I'm like, will y'all please listen to the man? Like, come on. I understand that he's irresponsible and he do some dumb stuff, but he has a good heart. And we seen that show when the tractor company was coming to repossess the tractor because Ernest was 3 months behind on it. And Ralph Angel, he had just had it. He was at his limit. His sisters were shutting him out. His sisters came to Ernest's house and they were packing up stuff. And he was like, why y'all didn't come get me? It's some things in here that I wanted to get for me and Blue. It was sentimental because he was there with his dad. And he got in their face and he ate their face all the way up. And he was like, Charlie, you weren't even nowhere to be found, girl. You was up out of here. And he told Nova, you couldn't wait till you was 18 to leave. But you know what? I've been here. And they wanted to sell the farm. And he's like, why would we do that? No, I want to keep my part of the farm because, we can make money. We can grow. I want to leave something for my kids to have. Like, he is just really, really invested in this farm like his father was. But they were like, no, we're going to sell it. Ain't nobody got time to be, fooling with this farm and keeping it up. It's too much work. We're not going to do it. And they were ignoring him so much. So when they were at his father's house, and they were packing all that stuff up and he wasn't able to go through things, and then these people showed up to get that tractor, oh, he lost it. Okay, he just went ballistic, and he went in that house and he got him a gun and he pointed it at them people and he was like, y'all not taking this tractor. And I mean, he was just ready to die because one of the other dudes, he pulled out a shotgun So it was like a standoff. And I'm like, oh, Ralph Angel, please calm down. But you could see it in his face. He had just had enough. Like, no, y'all not going to take nothing else from me and my dad. Like, we're not doing that around here. The only thing that stopped him from going crazy was Blue came out the house. And he was like, Daddy, no. And that's the only thing that calmed him down. His sisters couldn't say nothing to him, could not calm him down for nothing, but his son did. So they walked back in the house and they took the tractor. It was a very sad moment, but you could see the pain in him. He went in the house and he cried, and I just felt so bad for him. But his luck did change. Now, he was supposed to be going to a job interview because he's on parole. So part of his parole is that he has to work a 40-hour a week job. So he actually missed an interview because he went to the funeral for his father. So his PO told him somewhere that he could go to possibly get a job because they hire, parolees. And he went and he got the job. So he was very, very happy about that. And when all three of them went to speak to Mr. Landry, they all agreed at the end of it that they were going to keep the farm. So that made him extremely happy because that's what he wanted all along. Mr. Landry was known for buying farms at a lower price than what it was valued and taking advantage of people when they're in distress. So Remy let Charlie know about that. They were all going to play a part in it, but Ralph Angel will have the biggest part of it because he has to be there and reap the crops and, do all the farming there. And he was just up for it. And he's like, good. And they're going to try it for a year and see how it goes. And if it doesn't turn out good, then they're just going to let it go. Lastly, let's talk about their Aunt Violet. She is almost an honorary mother now to the three of them because, their father's gone, their mother's gone. There's no one there but Aunt Violet. Now, she was the one that sat down with the sisters and told them to quit bullying Ralph Angel and to listen to him. Even if you decide to do something that he's not agreeing with, at least include him in it. And so, she got them together about that. Now, she also has a little young thing, honey. She got a young boyfriend. His name is Hollywood, and he's so in love with her. I think it is so beautiful to see black love like that. I love it when they show these men who are loving and faithful to their girls, their wives. I love seeing that on TV, so I really appreciate that. It kind of counters what Miss Nova is doing over here with that man that's married. Violet loves her brother. She loves her nieces and nephew. And, she's just trying to keep everything together. And she's a waitress. And you can just tell she's just one of those good-hearted people. And I love her character on this show. But one of the things that I love about Aunt Violet was when Davis, because that's the one that cheated on Charlie, when he showed up to her house looking for Charlie, honey, she played him dust. Okay, he came in there and she was like, whatever. He spoke to her and she was just like, And when he came in the house, Ralph Angel and Hollywood was sitting at the table, and they all speaking to him and stuff, and Aunt was just looking at him like, nope. And Hollywood, he was being very courteous, and he's like, you want something to drink? We got some coffee. She's like, nope, we out of coffee. And he said, well, we got some tea in there. You want some tea? And she was like, nope, we out of tea too. Like, she just was like, no, what are you doing here? Get up out of here. And it just made me angry because it's like, y'all know what this man done did to Charlie. And y'all just welcoming him in, the men, welcoming him in just like ain't nothing popping. But maybe it's because he's an NBA player. Or maybe it's a man thing. But I love the fact that her Aunt Violet was letting him know it's not cool what you did. I see what you done. We ain't cool right now because that's not right what you did to my niece. Why is it that in some families the men don't take up for their women? That annoys the mess out of me. Like when he came into the house, I would have been happy to see Ralph Angel and Hollywood be like, you're going to have to wait outside. And if she want to come talk to you, she'll come out there. That's how I wanted them to act, like Aunt Violet was acting. But no, they all welcoming him in, and you want something to drink. No, he don't need nothing to drink. He need to stand outside what he need to do. Did anybody even call you over her? You tried it. Go get somewhere. So that annoyed me. Okay, I need these men to step up. I don't like that. Okay, maybe because it hit me too close to home. I don't like that. Men, take care of the women in your family. Don't let these men get away with disrespecting, dishonoring them. It's not okay. They should be held accountable by the men in their family. I just feel that way. But anyway, these are the things that happened in the first 3 episodes of Queen Sugar. If I left anything out, please drop it in the comments below and we will keep the conversation going. And I will see you all in the next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe because I will be here every week doing these reviews for this show. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.